Hello, good evening all. Welcome to another video with Pratham Test Prep. This is your host Sushila Chaudhary, and today we'll be discussing Law Commission's recommendations regarding reforms for adolescent sexual offences. So the Law Commission of India in its 283rd report has suggested changes to the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences POCSO Act and the Juvenile Justice Act or JJ Act. These amendments are intended to address concerns about overly strict enforcement of the POCSO Act in cases of consensual sexual activities among the adolescents. The recommendation aimed to bring a more balanced and nuanced approach to handling such situations. These recommendations come in response to the concerns raised by various high courts and aim to strike a balance in the safeguarding the best interests of the child while addressing issues related to the adolescent sexual activity. The report was prepared by a panel led by Justice Rituraj Avasthi with Justice K.T. Shankaran, Professor Dr. Anand Paliwal and Professor D.P. Verma. Now, before we move on, we will be dissecting this particular news into three main categories. The firstly, we'll be discussing about the Law Commission of India. Secondly, about the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act and Juvenile Justice Act. And in the end, we will end the session with the key recommendations that have been given. So to start, let's talk about the Law Commission of India. So the Law Commission of India is an executive body established by the Government of India in 1955 to work on legal reforms. It serves as an advisory body to the Ministry of Law and Justice and plays a significant role in India's governance. The first Law Commission in India was established in 1834 under the authority of the Chartered Act of 1833 chaired by Lord T.B. Macaulay. It played a crucial role in shaping India's legal framework, producing laws like Indian Contract Act and Code of Civil Procedure. The Law Commission of India's key function encompass periodically evaluating and enhancing existing laws, identifying and advocating the removal of outdated legislation, addressing socio-economic concerns through legal measures, providing advice on judicial and legal administration, conducting research on legal reforms, promoting gender equality through legal revisions, and regularly submitting comprehensive reports as well as recommendation to central government on a wide range of legal matters and issues. The Law Commission of India plays a critical role in shaping and improving India's legal system, ensuring that it aligns with the evolving needs of the aspiration of society, and this can be seen in this particular case where the issue of consensual sexual activity among adolescents is being questioned. Now let's talk about the POCSO Act, the key provisions of the POCSO Act. The POCSO stands for Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act, and the key provisions are as follows. So talking about the purpose of the act was enacted in India in 2012 with the aim of providing a comprehensive legal framework for the protection of children from sexual offences, exploitation and pornography. One thing to notice is all the provisions in POCSO are gender neutral, as the Act recognizes that both boys and girls can be victims of sexual offences and provides equal protection to all children, and the Act defines a child as any person below the age of 18 years. The POCSO also mandates the establishment of special courts for speedy trial of offences under the POCSO Act. These courts are responsible for ensuring the sensitive handling of the case involving child victims. The Act emphasizes on child-friendly procedures during the investigation and trial of cases and promotes the use of video recording of the victim's statement and allows for a presence of a support person or counselor to assist the child throughout the process. Additionally, the Act emphasizes the need for awareness and education programs to prevent child sexual offences. It encourages schools, communities, and the media to play an active role in spreading awareness and educating children about their rights and personal safety. Now that is POCSO Act. Now talking about the Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2015. So this particular act contains several key provisions aimed at safeguarding the rights and welfare of children in conflict with law, as well as children in need of care and protection. So talking about some key provisions of Juvenile Justice Act, the Act defines a child as any person below the age of 18. The Juvenile Justice Act upholds the principle of United Nations Convention on Rights of Child and ensures that the rights of children are protected and promoted. The JJ Act also emphasizes in the confidentiality of proceedings involving children, protecting their identity and ensuring their privacy. Now, the Act talks about two main bodies, that is Juvenile Justice Boards and Child Welfare Committee. So, Juvenile Justice Board encourages the diversion of children away from the formal criminal justice system whenever possible, promoting alternative methods of dispute resolution and rehabilitation. That is why the Act prescribes special procedures for trial of children in conflict with law, including child-friendly courtrooms and the presence of legal aid and support. The Juvenile Justice Board under this Act are established in every district to deal with cases involving children in conflict with law, and these boards determine the appropriate measures for rehabilitation and reintegration of the child. Now, coming to child welfare committees, the Act mandates the establishment of child welfare committees again at the district level to deal with children in need of care and protection. The Child Welfare Committee ensures the best interests of the child in case of abandonment, abuse and neglect. The Act also provides for adoption and foster care, and it also talks about rehabilitation, that it emphasizes the rehabilitation and social reintegration of child in conflict with law through education, skill development and counseling. The Act also prohibits detention of children in juvenile homes for a period longer than maximum term allowed for the offences committed. Now, these are the key provisions of the two main acts in which the Law Commission has recommended reforms and amendments. So let's talk about the key recommendations. So like we know, the Law Commission, and this is in the 283rd report, that they have recommended the amendments to these particular laws. And let's talk about the key amendments. First of all, it talks about judicial discretion of adolescents aged 16 and above. So instead of reducing the age of consent or providing limited exceptions, the Commission suggests granting judicial discretion to courts to impose sentence less severe than the minimum prescribed of the POCSO in cases where the child is aged 16 years or above and the age difference between the individual involved is not more than 3 years. The Law Commission also recommends amendments to the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act, so that the cases under POCSO Act involving both parties aged between 16 to 18 can be handled by the Juvenile Board, not criminal courts. The Juvenile Board should have the authority to impose sentences other than imprisonment, such as admonishment, community service, counseling, or release on probation with good conduct conditions. The recommendations also recommend amendment to POCSO Act. So the reason they recommend amendment to POCSO Act is because to address the cases of tacit consensual sex involving children of aged between 16 to 18. While not suggesting a reduction of the age and the consent, the Commission proposes introducing guided judicial discretion in sentencing of such cases, ensuring more balanced approach. Now, the recommendations also distinguishes between two categories of cases. The case one, where both the parties are adolescents aged between 16 to 18 years. These particular cases should be dealt with under the Juvenile Justice Act, and in case where one party is aged between 16 to 18 and the other one is an adult, special court should handle these cases with the discretion to award sentences less than the minimum prescribed sentence considering the factual circumstances. Now, the factors to be considered by special courts are these are the proposed factors. So the factors are, when exercising judicial discretion, it should include the child's approval to the act, the difference between the age difference between the parties, the absence of criminal history of the accused, good conduct post offense, and absence of undue influence and other relevant circumstances. So these recommendations, now that we have talked about the key act as well as the recommendations, what we can see is that these recommendations aim to address concerns regarding the strict application of POCSO Act to consensual sexual activities among adolescents and provide a more nuanced approach to handling such cases. It is important to note that the convention emphasizes not reducing the age of consent, but rather introducing guided judicial discretion in its sentencing. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Hope you liked it, and if you like, please like, comment and share this video and subscribe to the channel for more such content. Thank you.